Let's make up for lost time.
Ninja Gaiden has struggled to find an identity after the departure of former director Tomonobu Itagaki. Ninja Gaiden 3, the last main entry, was a disappointment and lacked many of the qualities the series is best known for. Yaiba, Ninja Gaiden Z, is a spin-off that wants to take things in a new direction. The game features a new look, hero, and sense of humor, but none of it comes together in a convincing way. Instead of offering a refreshing take on an old name, Yaiba just drags the Ninja Gaiden legacy through the mud. The game starts promisingly. Yaiba, a foul-mouthed and selfish ninja, is locked in a battle with Ryu Hayabusa, the star of the previous games. Hayabusa kills Yaiba, who is later brought back to life thanks to new robotic enhancements. The reconstructed ninja's only desire is to hunt down the man who killed him.
I was a little off my game from being dead, but luckily, I wasn't the only one.
Games very rarely let players fight the good guys, and while it's an interesting premise, Yaiba doesn't do much with it. Outside of one battle, it hardly matters that Hayabusa is there at all. Even worse, the revenge plot eventually gets abandoned in favor of another, less interesting antagonist. Let's just say you end up fighting to save the world without any real investment in what happens.
Delganza was still jabbering on when I left. If he was telling the truth, I'd kill Hayabusa, then kill him. If he wasn't, I'd kill him first and then Hayabusa. I didn't have a strong preference.
The gameplay is even worse than the story. Yaiba tries to be more accessible than past Ninja Gaiden games by requiring less precision. Instead of quick reflexes and intricate combos, many fights can be breezed through by spamming the same attack and occasionally dodging. Complexity is supposed to come from Yaiba's elemental system, which is new to the series. Enemies usually wield some form of fire, electricity, or acid. When these elements mix, they have varying effects. Combining lightning with acid, for example, causes things to crystallize. If you're fighting an enemy with a lot of health, they can be crystallized and shattered with a few punches. The elemental system is a good idea that was implemented poorly. In order to acquire an elemental weapon, Yaiba has to lower an enemy's health to a point where he can execute them, since the weapons are generally taken from an enemy's body. To get the rigor mortar, for example, you rip off the head of a large fire zombie. Disappointingly, you won't need elemental weapons most of the time, since basic attacks are typically more than sufficient, causing much of Yaiba's action to feel generic. All of that changes at the end of the game. So many enemies get thrown at you that the only way to efficiently kill them is by using elemental weapons. This would be fine, except it's almost impossible to discern what's going on with so much cluttering the screen. Making matters worse is the fixed camera, which is infuriating from beginning to end. For seemingly no reason, the camera will zoom in or out at the most inconvenient times. The other issue is that it's hard discerning when enemies are attacking if they're grouped up. Your biggest tell is a white ring that appears just before an enemy strikes, but it's too small to be of much use. When an entire horde is shooting acid, fire, and electricity, the white ring gets lost in the noise, leading to situations where you'll take damage without knowing who it's coming from. Outside of combat, Yaiba does some occasional platforming and puzzle solving. While inoffensive, the platforming feels largely automated. Yaiba performs most of the running, climbing, and swinging himself, and you only have to press a button when prompted. The puzzles are much worse, since they're mostly the same. Practically every puzzle requires you to throw a zombie somewhere, like an electrical zombie into a generator or an exploding zombie into a destructible wall. By the halfway point, it'll feel like the game is completely out of ideas. The same situations are presented again and again, making them feel less like puzzles and more like a repetitive distraction. At least Yaiba has a distinct look. The game isn't afraid to use a lot of color, and the constant clash of neon yellow, green, orange, and blue makes for some impressive-looking battles and enemies. It's loud in all the right ways, but the same can't be said for the humor. The writing tries to sound edgy without doing much to earn it. Hearing Yaiba scream the F-word gets tiresome quickly, and any attempts at toilet humor feel randomly thrown in.
Aren't you a miserable piece of shit?
Get the fuck off of me!
The lone exceptions are the enemy introductions. Each new type of zombie gets its own opening skit, and most of them are amusing. Seeing a zombie bride unleash chaos because you killed all of her zombie guests lends the enemy a level of personality not seen in a lot of other action games. The few things Yaiba does well are crushed by so many huge issues. Past Ninja Gaiden games demanded a certain level of commitment, and you could actually feel yourself getting better. In Yaiba, even when you're doing well, it all feels like a mess. Between the horrendous camera and the overly simplistic controls, you never truly feel like a ninja. At this point, it seems like Tecmo Koei has no idea how to resurrect Ninja Gaiden. But whatever is brought back next, we hope it's better than this.
Yaiba, I have always preferred women's underwears to men's. If cuddling your maracas is wrong, then I don't want to be right.